Hi, my name's James and welcome to R&R, the show where I react to and review some of the latest and greatest music videos. Today I'll be checking out Money Game Part 2 by Ren. This is one where I'm actually going to be breaking one of my rules that I set for myself when I first started this endeavor, which was I'll never review an official lyric video. However, today's the day where I'll be breaking that rule for Ren and for all the people that have commented and suggested this song and video to me. So with that out of the way, let's get to it.
Strange time we're living in, panic and hysteria. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for your narcissist mindset spread like malaria. Sit back and watch the show, America.
Cool, so far we've already got a fairly direct connection, if I'm not mistaken, to Money Game Part 1 with the same chord progression, or at least, you know, the same way that it's played. So that's cool. I guess the biggest difference, of course, is that this is a produced track and not a live recording that we get in Part 1. However, what I will say is that I do like the creativity that has gone into the lyric video so far. I guess what usually puts me off with a lyric video is that they can be pretty lackluster, low effort, boring, where I do like that we've got this more clip show sort of thing happening where the clips are obviously directly connected to the story that Ren is telling us. So I do like that.
Lit through fickle shit, a government of hypocrites. These counterfeit politicians sit in parliament, not adequate. Come on. Needlessly bleeding resources all dry. Turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise. Oh, what a shame it would be, I would die if number 10 Downing Street burned in a fire. Only joking, only messing, don't be stressing. I'm a peaceful adolescent, there's no need to be unpleasant. Write my thesis in a rhyme scheme to analyze the brain while my fingers on the trigger of a money game. Oh, rain, 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 rain. A storm, it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies. Poison in the veins, but we died upon the blame, 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 blame. It's easier to blame. We point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game. This old money game. This old money.
Cool. So again, we get that direct connection to Money Game Part 1 with the chorus there as well. Same lyrics, same melody. And we even get that sort of little section after the chorus, that vocalization section, which was cool. And as I've said before, Ren is very good at giving us a chorus which really speaks to the heart of the song, of the message that he's delivering, and also is able to keep it interesting and just sounds really nice. I would say the only, I guess the big difference here that I'm hearing is because this is one of, I guess, the older Ren songs at this point in time, the actual production quality of the song is a little bit lesser to what I'm accustomed to, you know, when it comes to Suicide by Ren or any of his other newer songs that he's been releasing. So it's really interesting to see, or at least have that comparison to the journey that Ren's been on with upping his production game with his music. So that's really cool to hear that, you know, the evolution from one of these older songs to some of his newer stuff, which he's been bringing out lately. And again, of course, you know, we're kept engaged and captivated through the clip show style, you know, video that we have here. I do like that it is also inserting those little clips from Money Game Part 1 as well. Really smart, really clever, really cool.
Game and the ladder we climb turns a saint into a sinner with his finger in crime. I'll break it down for you motherfuckers line by line. This is business economics in a nursery rhyme. She sells seashells on a seashore, but the value of these shells will fall due to the laws of supply and demand. No one wants to buy shells because there's loads on the sand. Step 1, must create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much better if the people think they're rare, you see. Bear with me, take as many shells as you can find and hide them on an island. Stockpile them high until they're rarer than a diamond. Step 2, gotta make the people think that they want them, really fucking want them. Hit them like Bronson. Influencers, product placement, featured primetime entertainment. If you haven't got a show, then you're just a fucking waste man. 3, it's monopoly. Invest inside some property. Start a corporation, make a logo, do it properly. Shells must sell, that will be your new philosophy. Swallow all your morals, they're a poor man's quality. 4, expand, expand, expand. Clear forest, make land, fresh blood on hands. 5, why just shells? Why limit yourself? She sells seashells, sell oil as well. 6, guns, sell stock, sell diamonds, sell rock, sell water to a fish, sell the time to a clock. 7, press on the gas, take your foot off the brakes, then run to be the president of the United States. 8, big smile, make big wave, that's great. Now the truth is overrated, tell lies out the gate. 9, polarize the people, controversy is the game. It don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name. 10, the world is yours. Step out on the stage to a round of applause. You're a liar, cheat, a devil, a whore, and you sell seashells on the seashore. Rain, 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 rain. A storm, it comes our way, and no surprise to distorted lies. Poison in the veins, but we die upon the blame, 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 blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game.
Cool. I was really hoping that lyrically, or should I say vocally, the song was going to progress somewhere else. I do feel that the tempo of the song for me is a little slow, although I can sort of understand where creatively and specifically with the message, you know, having a slightly slower tempo to fit in all of the content which Ren is giving us makes a lot of sense. However, I feel if it was just a little bit quicker, it might match the intensity or the urgency that I feel is in the message. So that's probably the only criticism that I have so far of the song. Although I did really like in that second verse where as Ren is going through the steps in the list, he is slowly getting more and more intense, building that energy, building the importance of the message. So I thought that was really smart and a really great way of keeping the composition of the track interesting, because really other than that, the introduction of the sort of electric guitar, there isn't a huge change. And even then when that electric guitar does come in, it's more of a sort of tension building sort of thing. You know, it brings a little bit of chaos because it's not necessarily rhythmically, you know, in sync with the progression, but it also kind of felt a little bit out of place to me as well. So I did really like that intensity was built throughout that section. And then we get this little bit of a sort of building back down of the tension throughout the second chorus there, which is kind of nice. Gives you a bit of a breather after, you know, all the content taken in there. And of course, you know, we continue on with the clip show style video, you know, giving us the imagery as well, along with that message, which I think is really key with this song, and is probably really the one sort of big up, is that having that imagery directly there really just helps connect and sell the message, which is kind of funny because, you know, that's, I guess, part of what Ren is giving to us. You know, he's saying like, look at all this bad stuff that's happening, and, you know, here's the way that these bad things are being sold as good. So he's using those same sort of techniques of imagery along with the message to sell his message. So really, really smart of doing that. And I think that's where that sort of that one-upping is really happening with part 2.
This old money game. This old.
Cool. So we end off there with a really simple outro. It's just that same vocalization section, which we've heard before after the chorus, after the first chorus there. And just a really nice way to, I guess, end the song off. Sort of really helps bring a lot of that tension down, which it was built throughout that second verse, which is nice. It kind of, I guess, you know, with the thought in mind that there's going to be a part 3 of Money Game, I guess bringing the mood down, the tension down, I guess something that I'm personally looking forward to with part 3, now having listened to part 2, is whether Ren is going to use that same chord progression, the same stylistic themes that he's taken on musically throughout part 1 and part 2. And I guess the way that the song ends off here almost leaves it open to a really smooth transition from part 2 into part 3. Even though I do know I did read one of Ren's most recent updates regarding part 3, and, you know, he does state that it is going to be a live recorded song in the same vein as part 1. So how that connection will happen, not quite sure. I mean, there's some very creative ways it could happen, and I'm sure, you know, if that is the intention, Ren will deliver quite well. So I guess when it comes to the progression of the message from part 1 to part 2, I feel part 1 was sort of this general globalization sort of message. It wasn't really specific, and it was just sort of stating the problems. There was a lot of that sort of telling of history, the history of money, and where sort of things started and where we're at that point in time, where this one definitely got more into, I guess, some more closer personal things for Ren, it seemed. Maybe that's just sort of the imagery that I'm stemming off of. Obviously, you know, he's from the UK. There was a lot of, you know, mentions specifically in the lyrics as well about the UK Parliament. So there was, yeah, some more directly connected stuff to Ren in this one. But then obviously, you know, verse 2, again, we get a bit more of that sort of history lesson on marketing and business and the destruction that that world can bring. So overall, I think it was a pretty good progression from part 1 to part 2. I'm interested to see where the story goes, where the message goes for part 3. I'm really looking forward to it. You know, at the end of the day, Ren is the absolute best at hyping his own material. And in that post that I mentioned previously, he does also mention that it's, you know, his most ambitious live recorded video yet. So that's pretty exciting. So that does it for me in this one. Be sure to let me know if there's anything that I missed, your thoughts on part 1 and part 2 and how they connect and interrelate, and your thoughts, theories, hopes for Money Game Part 3. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, check out some of my other videos, and you'll catch me in the next one.